Hello everybody, my name is Chris Mason. I'm currently enrolled in a student at Cal Baptist University. I'm currently enrolled in Sociology 323, Marriage and the Family. My professor is Dr. Yvonne Tai, and today is March 29, 2013, and I'm going to be presenting to you on diversity in the family, and I have a PowerPoint presentation ready for you guys. So here we go. Diversity in the family presentation roadmap. First thing we're going to do is define family structure and the forms of family structure. Next, we'll establish the three forms that we'll be talking about during the duration of this presentation, which is cohabiting families, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered families, as well as nuclear families. Next, we will define the three structures that we'll be discussing in their entirety. And finally, we'll conclude the presentation of diversity in the family. So first thing we're going to talk about is family structure defined. Family structure is defined as a form a family takes, such as nuclear families, extended families, single-parent families, cohabiting families, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered families, and alike. The three family structures that we'll be talking about during the duration of this presentation are cohabiting families, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered families, as well as nuclear families. Each family structure will be defined, discussed, and analyzed to give us a better understanding what the concept means and what the effects of the implementation of family structure has on an actual family. The three forms of family structure: cohabiting families, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered families, as well as nuclear families. Cohabiting families, so pretty much individuals who are living together and choose not to get married. Cohabiting families defined. Cohabiting families, also known as non-marrieds living together, has gained widespread acceptance over the past several decades and is widely viewed as one of the most important changes in family life over the past 40 years. Many industrialized nations are switching over to cohabiting families, and it has increased over the past 40 years. The U.S. has nearly 6.8 million heterosexual couples that cohabit. 6% of households with children in the U.S. are headed by cohabiting parents. So some famous examples of cohabitating parents would be Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. The couple has been publicly together for years, but has not yet been married. Another major example of famous person would be Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. The couple's been together for almost 30 years now and have admitted that they have no intentions of getting married. Some benefits of cohabiting. Some legal benefits where there's no ramifications if a couple decides to break up, such as divorce if some people are married. And individuals are allowed to gauge their partner and determine whether they are the one for them for the rest of their life or if somebody else fits better for them. Some of the challenges faced with cohabiting families, there are many different challenges associated with individuals facing into cohabiting relationships, but the main one, in my opinion, would be the legal ramifications if a cohabiter dies. So for example, if a couple has entered into a cohabitating relationship, so they're not married, and one of the cohabiter dies, the individual that dies, his assets might not go to the cohabiter widow, as you would say. It would probably go to the next of kin, which is a family member, and that might cause problems because if a cohabiting family has a child, the assets of the father might not always go to the family where they should. And some other relevant terms that go along with cohabitation are premarital cohabitation. This is defined as some cohabitants consider their lifestyle in courtship before they get married. So for example, if an individual lives together before they get married to see whether potential spouse fits their lifestyle or not. Another term would be uncommitted cohabitors, defined as those who live together as an alternative to being single. Committed cohabitors are individuals who live together as an alternative to getting married, and long-term cohabitors are individuals who live together long-term without getting married but are committed to each other. On to the next family structure would be lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered families. Here we go. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender families. I'm going to abbreviate them from here on out as LGBT families. So here we go. They're defined as families of the same sex couples, including lesbian co-parents as well as an array of lesbian mothers, biological fathers, surrogate mothers, as well as gay biological fathers. In 2008, there were supposedly 565,000 same-sex couple households in the United States, about evenly distributed between gay and lesbian couples. And in 2004, Massachusetts was the first state to actually legalize same-sex marriage. Some examples of famous gay couples would be Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi. Portia de Rossi, she used to be an actress on Arrested Development, which is a TV show, and Ellen DeGeneres is also a TV host. Another one I have is Neil Patrick Harris and David Berchka. Neil Patrick Harris is a famous TV star, and I also have Rosie O'Donnell and her girlfriend Michelle Rounds, which are a lesbian couple, and they're famous because Rosie O'Donnell is an entrepreneur. Um, so benefits of LGBT families. LGBT families tend to be wealthier and can provide a better family structure than many of the lower class individuals or lower class families. LGBT families are very similar to heterosexual couples, and they value love, faithfulness, and commitment. Most LGBT families become parents through adoption, foster care, sexual intercourse, and artificial insemination. So planned artificial, yeah. Individuals faced by or challenges faced by LGBT families. LGBT families face discrimination from religious groups, politicians, and many other social groups. Um, and another challenge that faces these kind of families would be that there's a high violence rate between them. The violence rate is a lot higher than heterosexual families. Other relevant terms towards LGBT families would be children outcomes. Research from a culmination of more than 100 studies finds children of gay males and lesbian parents are generally well adjusted with no noticeable differences from children of heterosexual parents. They're tested their cognitive abilities, behaviors, and emotional development, and they found they were very similar, if not the same. Another term with LGBT families would be culture war. This is defined as a deep conflict over matters concerning human sexuality and gender that has become global. Um, Next term we're going to go over is nuclear families. This is the final term. Nuclear families are defined as a family group comprised of only a wife, the husband, and the children. Until about 50 years ago, social attitudes, religious beliefs, and law converged into a fairly common expectation about what American families should take as their family structure, and they took breadwinner husband, homemaker wife, and children living together as an independent household. Some famous examples of this kind of lifestyle would be a TV show like The Brady Bunch, which was developed in the late 1960s to the early 1970s, and it depicts Mr. Brady as the breadwinner husband, Mrs. Brady as the homemaker wife, and many of the children who go to work and or continue to get education so they can get a job in the future. Some of the benefits of nuclear families. Nuclear families develop a strong relationship between the husband and wife, as well as between the parents and the children. And this is important because they develop a strong family relationship tied to each other. Some challenges faced with nuclear families. Some challenges would be maybe infidelity by the spouses. Infidelity by the spouses could lead to negative effects on the children as well as the spouses in general. Other relevant terms associated with nuclear families would be the nuclear family model, the culture assumption that the first marriage in a family is a real model of family living, with all other family forms viewed as deficient. Another term is nuclear family structure, like we've talked about, with the husband being the wage earner, the wife being the homemaker, and the child being the one that's receiving the education. And it actually has dramatically changed over the past 50 years from what it used to be. So, diversity in the family conclusion. First, we explained to you guys about family structure. Next, we introduced the 3 family structure forms that we'll be discussing during the entirety, which are cohabiting families, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered families, as well as nuclear families. For each one of these structure forms, we provided examples, pros and cons for the family lifestyle. We defined each family structure and form, and we provided alternative concepts to help us better understand the family form, the structure, and the development of it within a family. And finally, we have concluded with our conclusion. And that's the end. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation. You guys have a terrific day.